Hi, Katie. So let's check out your grammar in revision lesson plan for 11th graders grammar bingo. Prior content knowledge, right? So you're assuming that kids are going to know basics about grammar terminology and how to use these in a basic writing context as well as revision. That's not terribly succinct. Give me something much more specific. Grammar terminology is just huge, okay? So then how to revise writing to notice grammatical errors, sentence types, sentence patterns, and how to make writing better using these elements properly. That's a lot to tackle in one lesson plan. So let's see how you do, or if it gets, kind of gets too big for you, all right? Oh, although I do see that you have 2 class periods time frame here. So, okay, yeah, all right, good, let's see. All right, so here are your evidence outcomes. Ensure a verb agrees with its subject. Yeah, man, you'd be surprised how often kids screw that up, especially when it comes to indefinite pronouns and intervening phrases and clauses. Man, one prepositional phrase jumps in between the subject and the verb, and the kids just short-circuit their brain. Yeah, so good thing to tackle. Great. Using variety of phrases. Do you know what absolute and appositive phrases are? I wonder. Okay, all right. How can grammar change the way we think? Well, isn't that an interesting question? I can't even think of an answer to that. That would be interesting to throw up on the board and really challenge the kids to think about that. This is the best question right here. It really is. How can a writer use grammar to make, his or her writing the best it can be? Look at, a writer is singular, this pronoun is plural. Singular noun, singular pronoun. Okay, so how can a writer use grammar to make his or her writing the best it can be? All right, got to be really careful. The kids will be watching for that stuff. If you say that you're good enough to teach them grammar, they're going to call you on everything. Got to have thick skin when you're teaching grammar. Okay, so here's your objectives. Demonstrate that they know what grammar is and how to use grammar properly. That's too vague and it's too large. The goal with these evidence outcomes that you want, objectives that you want to post on the board, is that at the end of the lesson, the kids have some measuring tool for themselves, right? Did I or did I not meet the objective? And you likewise have the same measuring tool. So to demonstrate that they know what grammar is and how to use grammar properly, too big. Make it manageable, make it measurable, okay? Use a variety of phrases correctly and purposefully. That may be okay. Yeah, you could add a measurability tool to that. Use each phrase, taught in class, right? Because up here, you have absolute and appositive, right? Use 2 absolute and appositive phrases correctly and purposefully by creating their own sentences or revising in work or something like that, okay? Make sure they have correct subject-verb agreement. This is you talking, not what you want to post on the board for the kiddos. What you want to post on the board for the kiddos is revise rough draft of essay to ensure correct subject-verb agreement at 100% accuracy, okay? That way it's measurable for the kids, it's measurable for you, and they know exactly how they're going to meet that, okay? Hope that makes sense. All right. So formative assessment, looking at journal sessions and revisions, bingo game, write and revise papers. Okay, yep, looking good. All right. Oh, they're probably going to know how to play bingo, all right? Before we play bingo, answer a question. Oof. Once the bell rings, what is grammar? I got to tell you, Katie, I don't know that I can answer that question. I asked you guys that question in class a couple weeks ago. I said, what's the difference between grammar mechanics and syntax? And Kayla King is the only person in the room that raised her hand. I don't know that they're going to have prior knowledge. They're going to throw things at you. And maybe that's what you're going for. So let me keep reading and see. Have them share what they think grammar is. Their the study of classes of words, their inflections. I don't know that kiddos are going to know that. And their functions and relations in that sentence. Okay. That's a huge definition, all right? You might scare your kids. Once you've written on the board, have the students repeat it back out loud to you. Hey, by the way, if you're going to cite a definition of grammar, go ahead and cite it. Go ahead and tell the students, right? It's not me making this up. Like, this is the definition for grammar from Oxford English Dictionary or your textbook or something like that, okay? You're gonna need a transition here. Once you've written it and had them repeat it back, hand out grammar bingo cards, right? Get their buy-in. You put the word grammar on the board, kids are going to shut down. They're going to glaze over. They're going to freak out because for 10 years, people have been drilling them in a really boring way with this stuff, right? So if you give them the definition of grammar, have them reflect on it, even if it's just a verbal class discussion, right? What does this mean? Why do we bother with this stuff, right? You know, my classic go-to with this is power. The more people with whom you can effectively communicate because you have control over the language, the more power you have. Like, you know, brava to you. You can Snapchat with your friends and post on Facebook and they can understand what you mean. That's good. That's great. Can you write a professional letter? Can you look at how much people rely on email these days. Can you effectively write an email to your boss, to your colleagues, without having someone laugh you off and go, oh my gosh, you are so uneducated, you can't even write without a typo? Drill home some things like that, okay, before you transition into bingo. All right, I'm a little nervous here transitioning right into bingo. Is this going to be an instructional tool, or is this just going to be an activity? So let's check it out. All right. Interesting question. What does the future look like to you? Interpret the prompt however you want. Good for you. Good for you. You're getting them to write something so they can go back to it. Okay. Tell them to put their journals away. If you're going to have kids write on something like that, you may want to allow them some processing, verbal processing time. They're going to take it from you whether you allow it or not, so just go ahead and allow it, okay? Playing grammar bingo to understand next activity. Start off by telling them you're going to read aloud the definition of one of the words in their sheet at a time, and it is their job to match the definition to the word. Okay, so where's the... Hold on, sorry, don't mean to make you dizzy while we scroll. You're asking them, what you set up for them is that they can use a variety of phrases like absolute and appositive and ensure that verbs agree with subjects, okay? I want to see some direct instruction in that. So let's go back to this. All right, show them what to expect in the game, read aloud the definition for direct object, and see if the students can place it with this correct word. All right. Okay to ask questions if they don't know a word or confused by a word or definition. If you're anticipating this already, it means you're anticipating they're not going to know. So jumping right into an assessment, like, a direct object is a noun that works with the transitive verb. If you anticipate the kids staring at you going, oh, what? Then don't do this activity. Direct instruct them first, then do the activity for review, okay? I want to know that you know the answers to these, okay? Part of doing this grammar lesson plan is practice and lesson planning. And part of it is my, I don't mean to use test like in the negative punitive sense, but sort of my test of you guys. Can you easily and comfortably define for me structure class, form class, referent, auxiliary, inflection? I want to see you put the definition in here because I don't want to let you walk away from this class feeling like I know all these words and I don't really know what they meant. I can throw them in lesson plans, but I can't define them. I would feel like a really crummy teacher, and I would really feel like I let you guys down. Do the research. All these definitions are in the back of your rhetorical grammar book too, okay? Do the research and put these definitions in here, because the practice of you looking them up, reading them, writing them in here, and reviewing them is going to help solidify that information in your head. So when it comes to teaching this, you're like, I've got this, I know this. You're not learning along with the students. That can be kind of a stressful business, okay? So get these definitions in here when you revise this lesson plan and put it in your portfolio, okay? All right, going through the bingo game. See, you have here, start by reviewing the terms they just learned in bingo. I wonder about flip-flopping this. I wonder about a day of direct instruction. And then day 2 is the bingo lesson plan. I don't know, you tell me, okay? Expect them to get into groups of 3 and 4, reading their responses out loud. Reference the directions later. Excellent, good. So that you're doing multiple strategies for helping them with directions. All right. Then you have them go through their papers and see if their marks have to do with grammar problems or what. And if yes, have them a different color pen. Okay, good. Here's your guided practice. Now that they're in groups, have them start reading and marking. Right, good. Attach some points to it. I'm fortunate that we got to do that, but I'm glad you're thinking about that, okay? Once everyone's completed the activity, have the students return to their seats and look over the writing samples, okay? Make sure that, you're prompting them with a really concrete skill, right? That it's, think about Bloom's taxonomy, okay? You're at the application level here. In order to get to the application level, you have to be comfortably able to identify and recognize before you can apply. And even you're dipping your toe in the water with analysis here. You're asking them to analyze their writing. So you want them to identify and recognize appropriate and misappropriate uses of grammar. That's a compare-contrast. You want them to apply that knowledge to their writing, and then you want them to analyze their writing to see whether they've used it in the most appropriate form or not. That's a higher level Bloom's taxonomy that you better make sure that you have modeled for them, because that's, you're asking them to look at their papers, ask them to use 4 skills at once, okay? All right. Oh no, Katie, you used the word things in your lesson plan. No. Be succinct, be concrete, be specific, okay? I want to see you do that with me so I know that you'll be comfortable doing it with your students, all right? 3 things they already knew about the term, something we did in the past 2 classes, 3 things they learned, 3 things they want to learn or continue to learn about. Excellent. Give them a touch of a prompt here, right? 3 things that you want to learn about how this information makes you a better writer, okay? Because that's the whole goal, the whole way through, all right? Good. Glad you did the attachments, all right? And here's your definitions. Oh, here I was, Katie, bugging you about that up above, and it's right here. Excellent. Okay, excellent, good. If you think that your kids are going to know these, good, excellent, great, go for it. If you don't think they're going to know them, revise this into a 3-day lesson plan. Lesson 1, direct instruction. Lesson 2, review with bingo grammar, grammar game. Lesson 3, model revision and application. And lesson 3, part 2, apply it to their own writing. Okay? Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to grammar. All right? Nice job. Thanks.